Happy Hispanic Heritage Month! Woo! A whole month of celebrating Latinos' contribution to our great country. Actually, it's not a month. It's from September 15th to October 15th, but that's cool because Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua celebrate their independence on September 15th. And Mexico, Chile, and Belize also celebrate their independence in late September. So why not just make it September? It's not entirely clear. It started as a week originally when LBJ signed off on the legislation, making it official. And then when it became a month under Reagan, I guess they just didn't think a single month would be good. But don't worry, this is actually one of the less confusing aspects of being Latino. Remember when I said that Hispanic Heritage Month was for celebrating Latinos? Well, I lied, kind of. See, Hispanic denotes people of a common Spanish-speaking culture, while Latino encompasses people of Latin American descent who live in the US. So, not all Hispanics are Latino and not all Latinos are Hispanic. And a Mexican who lives in Brazil is neither, but if they had a Spanish-speaking child that immigrated to the United States, that person would be both. See? Easy peasy, don't call people Hispanic that speak Portuguese. But wait, there's more! That's just the most widely accepted version because it can also be a matter of region. See, the East Coast uses Hispanic more often, while the West tends to use Latino. Oh, and academics are also having a debate as to the appropriateness of the terms because they were invented mostly as a way to simplify categorizing a large, diverse group of people. So some argue that the best way is to refer to us by our family's country of origin, American. But not everyone agrees because if you get someone like me, you'll have extra hyphens. I'd be Guatemalan, Mexican, American. So it's probably easier to call me Hispanic or Latino. Look, whatever it is that you can remember at this point is fine. Oh, and because this is the internet, I'm sure there are some of you that are aware of the term Latinx, which was a term that appears to have originated online with the intent of using it for people who don't identify with gender binary, which is good because inclusion is good, but it's also bad because it's kind of anglicizing Spanish. See, X in Spanish is pronounced with an English H sound like in house, or with the KS sound like in English fix. But in English, it can also be pronounced as a Z, like the first X in Xerox. So is it Latin H, Latin X, Latin Z, Latin X, men and women? Look, this joke got away from me. I'm just gonna use the grammatically correct in Spanish, Latinos. Part of the reason for the nationality first attitude could be because of the fact that the media and many people treat Hispanic or Latino as a separate ethnicity entirely. And surprise, that's both wrong and right again. Hooray for clarity. See, on a lot of paperwork, Hispanic or Latino is considered white, which could be true in some circumstances if you're strictly of European descent. But when the Spanish and Portuguese colonized most of the Americas, they didn't have hard and fast rules about who it was acceptable to marry, or otherwise make babies with. Rape. You know, I didn't want to say it off the bat, but there was just a lot of rape during colonization, and most of history really. Yeah, history is just full of rape and poop death. Not exactly a good title for a textbook. More on topic though. Because of fewer restrictions, most Latinos have some mestizo, European and native, mulatto, European and African, or other combination in their ancestry, which, of course, was used to implement a caste system where whiter people were given preferential treatment. So while Hispanic or Latino has often been considered a kind of white, and many Latinos would probably prefer that because of the historical treatment of non-whites, really we're mixed more often than not. As confusing as this all is, I'm glad there's a month of recognition. See, even though immigration is likely one of the first things that comes up when Latinos are mentioned, we've been a part of the US for just as long as most Anglo-Americans, longer in many cases. Let's look at a map of North America during colonization. See that section that's most of the United States? Yep, Spanish colonies, and that includes 3 of the 4 most populated states. And yes, this territory was either sold or conquered during various conflicts, but Latinos laid the groundwork for much of what would become the Western United States, and losing a war didn't stop certain segments of the population from talking about their heritage and pride all the time, so it feels weird to say the least when those same people tend to make us feel like outsiders so often. So what does this all mean? I'm not really sure. If this video so far has seemed a tad confusing, it was intentional. Between the weird mid-month start to there being so much debate about just what being Latino even is, confusion is part of many of our identities. While I recognize how fortunate I am that my family worked their asses off to be here, there are plenty of people that let us know that we're somehow not the same amount of American as them, and I wouldn't give up our culture for anything. even if it means I don't get called back for job interviews as often, even though people like me get imprisoned at a higher rate than white, not of Hispanic origin people, even though we're the largest minority group in the United States, but are still the most underrepresented in my chosen profession, and even though it can be lonely with a feeling of no soy de aquí, ni soy de allá, that comes with being a child of both immigrant and American culture, I love it. I love my mixed up family, the years of celebrating Christmas Eve with tamales, the fact that I was raised speaking English and Spanish because that makes it easier for me to speak to my abuelito and abuelita, the idea that my pursuit of the American dream is built on a foundation of hard work that my family laid, the fact that I'm a mestizo, Hispanic, Latino, Guatemalan, Mexican, American is confusing and beautiful to me. So for this Hispanic Heritage Month, go talk to your Latino, Hispanic, mixed up, whatever American friends. Sit down to a meal with them because each of their stories is as weird and unique as mine. And even if you can't entirely relate, you'll at least get some love and probably some really good food. Hey, thank you for watching. Please click the boxes to watch more videos. Please click the C in the middle to subscribe. Click the notification bell so you can get notified whenever we post new content. And why don't you give me a follow on Twitter at FanboyChristian. That's FanboyChristian with no H. Yeah, that's it. Enjoy Happy Hispanic Heritage Awareness Month.